I believe in remigration. The concept that we have to remain a homogeneous country because there are parts of the UK that have in-group preference that are completely living in isolation to the rest of the community, which then causes an increased amount of crime, which bankrupts local councils and introduces sectarian violence.
So, like, for example, we're in London, and not far is Lambeth, and there you have many Portuguese people who identify as Christians. And they're very insular in a sense. The whole road is full of Portuguese people, white people. So you think that they need to be placed back to Portugal? Is that what your politics is?
No, but I would say that
Or did you mean a particular race?
Pardon?
Or did you mean a particular
race? No, hold on.
No, I just want to ask questions.
But there's a difference between...
I won't push back. I'll ask you a question. I'll ask you
Be honest.
I'm not going to give much pushback because I don't have a dog in this race, but I would like to know your opinions. I think everyone wants to know your opinions.
Yeah?
So would you remigrate those Portuguese people who identify as Christian? Because Bob the builder, he doesn't mind the landscape being multicultural as long as everyone is Christian, right?
Yeah.
But you say no, it should be what?
Okay, right. I'll answer your question. So, by the way, there's something between race and ethnicity, right? Like, a Polish man is white, an English man is white. I'm not focusing on the white part, I'm focusing on the English and Polish part, right? A second thing you also have to understand is someone from Portugal has a closer ancestral and cultural tie to the land of Europe, to the land of the United Kingdom, than the first generation Bangladeshi migrant, right? And one of the most extreme cases of in-group preference would be Tower Hamlets Council. There are 3 councillors, 2 tried to stand in a Bangladeshi as an MP in Bangladesh, and spent more time in Bangladesh than they did in their elected job and position in Tower Hamlets, and one is actually a remaining standing MP in Bangladesh and Tower Hamlets. I am saying it is better to have an Englishman stand in an English council who has no preference whatsoever to another country and foreign affairs, because if you look at Tower Hamlets, they've gone bankrupt. The government has now had to intervene because they've spent too much. And Tower Hamlets is mostly reigned by dissident Labour councillors.
What are you known to consist of?
Bob, now, do you want to not interrupt me?
No, but you're talking at great length, so I just thought it's a discussion.
Great. But if you want me, it is a discussion. Yeah, so but it's an uncontrolled discussion.
Yeah, I know. So which I'm allowed to.
You're going to interrupt me? Do you want to interrupt me?
No,
you can either have a timed discussion.
Why are you getting so agitated?
You can either have a timed discussion, because you've randomly inserted yourself into a discussion, and courtesy follows. You can't interrupt me. You can't.
Why are you being so defensive?
I'm not being defensive.
You are.
I'm just making sure. I will. But he's not letting me land. He's not letting me land because you're not even letting me pose the question. Okay. Do you want to have a time discussion?
I hope you have the same patience.
I will have the same patience. I will have this. If you want to have a time, I thought you said this wasn't a debate, by the way.
That's what I just said.
Okay,
now.
great. So you've asked me a question. Yes. I'm going to answer the question in the same fashion. Okay, but notice what these guys do. They're gonna complain. They're gonna complain.
You know what's funny? This clearly shows how privilege is invisible to those that have it. Because the reason they're even able to speak about these topics is because they're in the UK. An European country. Do you think in Afghanistan or any country in Africa you can speak about immigration laws, government? No, bro, you cannot. It's just what it is, and you submit to the government. That's it. You cannot speak about it, you cannot debate about it, especially with the natives if you're an immigrant. That's literally the last thing you should ever do because you're gonna end up in prison. But in European countries, we let these people say their opinions on our countries when they flee from their countries. Isn't that a contradiction? Dude, you just fled from your country. How do you think you can tell us what to do in ours? Let me know what you guys think.
All right. Let's just go back to what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm being cordial.
I'm going through.
The whole point is
your question is loaded. Brother, this guy's complaining about me answering the question. I'm not going to be able to give an answer to the question, and he's going to keep on complaining.
Compose yourself. I'm not pushing you.
No.
Compose yourself. I'm asking polite questions.
There's
in a polite way.
Difference between I'm loud, you're obnoxious. You may be quiet and obnoxious. But he's doing that intentionally. I am making my point, but he's still complaining about how long I'm taking to make my point. How long is he going to take to complain about making a point because I can't end the point? Okay, great. Let me summarize. Difference between race and ethnicity. certain ethnic and cultural groups have more of an in-group preference than others, which means if we're talking about a homogenous country, you can keep, European migrants here who have a closer cultural and ethnic background to this country than you can someone who is a first-generation Bangladeshi that is standing in a Bangladeshi election and completely ruining the country they're elected to. Now, I'll answer you this question. Do you think it's acceptable? Wait. I've answered your question. I've answered your question. Now I'm asking your question. Wait. Can I ask this guy a question? Am I going to be able to ask this guy a question?
But I never stood.
How long am I going to be able to until I can ask you a question?
I'm not a politician.
Okay, great.
I don't stand for any constituency.
Great. I'm asking for your position. I don't stand in any constituency. I'm not.
You're speaking clearly like a politician.
I'm not a politician. I'm a 17-year-old. I'm not a politician.
You played that card last time.
Yes.
When we had the discussion, you played that card last time.
Yeah, and every time I'm going to play it until it's relevant.
If you put yourself.
Can I ask you a question now?
Well, let me.
Can I ask this guy a question?
You spoke for length.
No, because you asked me a question. Now I want to ask you a question.
We're not going to change the topic.
No, I am not going to. I'm not. It's on the same topic.
Okay, but let me.
Wait.
Respond to what you're
I've
saying.
not been able to make my point.
No,
Not been able to ask a question.
No, it's my turn.
No, it's not, because I still haven't answered my question. You asked me a question, and I've answered the question. Now,
we're not going to go.
No, it's on the same topic. I'm just asking if you're consistent.
Okay, I'm gonna respond to what you're saying. I'm gonna respond to your question.
You can respond to the initial statement. This is how a sort of cultural debate / discussion goes. You ask me a question. I answer that question. I pose you a question. Then you can respond to my rebuttal to that question. Then you can answer the question. No, you tried to. The deception of Muslims, everyone. Now,
if you want to do, is it a debate?
Do you think? No,
is it a debate? You want to structure the debate?
Do you want to time it? Do you want to have a timed debate?
What's the topic of the debate?
Do you want to have it?
How can you debate about something
Remigration.
you don't know what my state? What's my position?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you a question.
How can you debate?
Because I'm asking you a question.
I'm asking you something.
Brother, this guy's being intentionally difficult for no reason. This is the reason why I don't go to speaker's corner very long. Okay, go on.
How can you debate someone if you don't know what?
That's why I asked you. That's why I was trying to ask you a question.
I said 1 second.
That was why I was trying to ask you a question.
1 second. I said clearly, I would like to have a discussion. Everyone heard that. I said I would like to ask you questions because the topic starts with the idea is that you believe in race before religion. And you have a position, I don't have a position. I asked you if I can ask you a question. You said yes. So now I asked you a question, but you want to make a debate and ask me. So I asked you about the Portuguese people, and I didn't interrupt you when you spoke at length, only towards the end. The Portuguese, you said you believe in a re-migration of who? Of people who are not British. But then I asked you about a community who are very insular just down the road from here, the Portuguese people who are lovely people. I asked you, would you have that same ethic for them? You didn't really answer that.
I did.
You made it.
I did.
You made it into a Bengali
thing.
You heard how he was clear with the Bengali thing, but he was not specific about the Portuguese. I don't know. Now, if you want a particular English, and you added again, I don't understand fully. He said Polish. What has Polish got to do with Britain? If you said that you want only to be an English country, I would be up for that for you. I'd understand. You have consistency, but you threw in Polish. You spoke about Bengalis, but you did not speak about the Portuguese.
It was just an example. How are you not understanding? Maybe it's the Muslim brain, but Europeans obviously have much more in common with other Europeans. If you compare a German to an Italian, they have much more in common. The culture, the language is not so different. We share the same faith, values, and traditions. Like comparing a Bangladeshi to a Pakistani, you basically are the same people. Now, if you compare a Bangladeshi to an Italian, it's fucking different. I know you have a Muslim brain, but this is basic logic.
Which was the original question. I don't want you to be a politician here. I don't want to do a debate. We could go back to having a civil discussion. It's up to you completely. Or we can go into a debate. It's up to you.
Okay, so first of all, it shows how you've not engaged your ears. Because I gave Polish people as an example of the difference between an ethnicity and race. Because you're fixing me on talking about race, I'm not. I'm talking about culture and ethnicity, because culture is typically a monocult, which means it comes from one group of people. You know, a culture is a monocult. It comes from one group of people. The difference between a French culture and a British culture is the fact that it comes from the ethnicity of the land that we're speaking in. And I gave you an example of how English people and Polish people are both white, but of different ethnicities. So I use that. I use that as an example of what is the difference between race and ethnicity, nowhere did I use Polish people as a way of answering your question. Now, I did actually answer your question. I said no, I wouldn't. Because first of all, they're not demographically replacing us. They don't have a child per family unit rate that would demographically replace the native population of this country. Because I believe that a country is defined by its nationality, so its ethnicity, its culture, its religion, and its language. And there are certain different groups which can be characterized by its religion, ethnicity, that have certainly going to replace the native people of this land. I'm a nativist. I believe that we should put the people of this country first.
Do you have Polish in
No.
you? You're fully what?
I'm part Scottish, part English, and I have a majority Anglo-Saxon. But I want to caveat this. I want to caveat this, right? My migration policy is that we need to start chopping off people in a list of people when it comes to deportation.
If he said that, you won't say wait. If he said that, you won't say wait.
No, I mean it.
Something.
Hello, my Marxist friend.
That's what you call a fraud.
I'm doing well. Pardon? Pardon?
Go on.
No, because I don't believe in if you're this percentage you need to go and if you're in this percentage you need to go. That's absolutely ridiculous. I would say that we need to start, if we were to prioritize a list of people that do not socially integrate or have in-group preference or erode the ethnicity, culture, religion or language of this country, we need to deport. And we need to deport until we get to, let's just say, 85, 90, 95%.
Who would you start with?
Well, we would start with.
Who would you start
we,
with?
we would start.
Was it Africans
We would
or
start. We would
Asians
start
or
with different
South
classifications
American?
of people. So illegal migrants,
Yeah, that's
foreign
obvious,
criminals,
Yeah.
then people who don't socially
Sounds
integrate,
great, yeah.
then people.
How would you determine someone doesn't socially integrate?
You look
Are
at-
my questions like
Yeah.
attacking, or do you feel like I was in my
No,
question?
not at all.
Okay. No, okay. So, because I want to bring down the discussion level because there's a bit.
Yeah. So
attacking.
my definition of integration is two ideas that overlap with each other.
What's the standard? What would be the standard?
No, the
for-
standard
to
is this,
integrate
if it meets the definition of the word. Integration is this understanding that, two sets of ideas can overlap each other. If that can't take place, you're gone. What ideas? The ideas that they're importing here.
Oh, two opposing, diametrically opposed ideas.
Yes.
You mean? Okay, but what's the standard? What's the standard?
But, well, of course, culture.
Christianity was important.
Pardon?
Christianity.
But it's
Yeah.
the dominant religion now.
It was in-
Are you going to interrupt this discussion, my Marxist
I'm going
friend?
to interrupt like anybody else. Yeah, why not?
Okay, but of course this guy's held me to high standards. Great.
No, I'm being fair in this discussion. I haven't been attacking. I just want to hear.
Well, you
your opinion.
haven't.
I haven't.
You've
no.
intentionally been
But you
deceptive.
deceptive.
Yes.
And you call me obnoxious as well. That's two.
Yeah, because
I'll
those
take
are
it,
the
it's
two
okay.
things that
It's
you
okay.
are.
I took it. That's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah, you
what way do
obviously
you
do.
feel that I've been deceptive?
So, throughout your rebuttal, you've used
Rebuttal,
rhetoric.
we're not debating.
Well, it is.
No,
You
it's
can
not. I
say
haven't
you're not,
pushed
but you are.
on. I said in the beginning.
Because in Speaker's Corner, when people don't have a developed sense of argumentation,
You think
for
I
the
don't
camera,
understand? We debated
asking
before.
inflammatory questions is, of course, a form
What's
of debating.
inflammatory? This is you said
Because
race
instead of
before
asking my
religion.
ideas, you've asked
You seem like you
questions
don't
which
take
load
questions well.
contradictions.
You seem like you don't.
No, I don't
take
take dishonest
I
people
can
very
see
well.
your face twitching. And
I don't
you're
take
not taking it
I don't
very
take
well.
dishonest people
I've
very
asked
well.
you questions. I've given you plenty and ample time to speak.
I don't
yeah?
take- yep.
I haven't really pushed back on your ideas.
Of
I just
course you
wanna
have. The
ask
first
you,
question
not
did
really
that.
Did push back. No.
Yes, you did.
I asked you.
The first
clearly
question was
about
on
the
consistency.
Portuguese
That's the
people,
debating.
yeah?
And I gave you a strict
Didn't
answer.
You
No.
spoke about
I
clearly-
said no.
Yeah, you said no, sir.
I said no.
Yeah. You spoke about Bengali people at length. Now,
No, I
asked
didn't.
you-
I
asked
gave an
you-
example of Tower Hamlets, which is
Are
a
you gonna let me
75%
speak?
more
Because
foreign
when
population.
when you spoke, and I let you speak at length, and at the end, when I tried to, speak, you said I was interrupting.
Yes.
you. Okay. Now my question, next one is,
Yeah.
what is the standard? So the gentleman here is saying that
I'm not allowed
Britain.
in. I'm not allowed in.
Yeah. Britain originally was, I don't know, a Celtic or like the Celts, or there were pagans. At what point do we say this culture is static? It no longer moves into something else. Why don't we go back to it? It seems completely arbitrary. When do we say this is Britain? At what point in history
Yeah, we could be
was this a good
we
Britain?
can simply negate it, right? So, of course, there's a difference between a historical change demographically towards pagans, because the native people.
What's the cut-off point?
My friend, do you want to give me an opportunity to respond?
Remember,
I know
you're
you're a very
silent from the
charismatic Marxist, but unfortunately I have to have ample time to
Have
respond.
occasional
Great.
This is Speaker's Corner,
Yep.
mate. I am quite experienced here.
Yeah, I can tell from the
You don't
grey hair.
get to decide when people can interrupt or.
Of course, but if it's
You don't
made to
get
be a
decide
one-to-one
that.
discussion,
Who
unfortunately
says that?
parties
You
like you
standing
can't.
Speaker's
He
Corner.
just said that,
Well,
and
on
you agreed with
one-to-one,
him.
you go
on
Wait, why have you
one-to-one.
not interrupted him?
One-to-one, you go in bloody McDonald's.
Wait, so hold
You want a
on.
one-to-one
So you never
don't stand in
interrupted him?
Speaker's Corner.
Did you interrupt him?
I'll interrupt him if I think he needs interrupting. If I need to interject.
Wait.
In Parliament we interject
So-
as well.
right.
So
Yeah.
constantly.
We're at Speaker's Corner.
But even in the House-
But why do you get offended?
I'm not.
Just answer
I'm just
like-
trying
like
to
answer,
answer.
like-
Just trying to answer, but I don't appreciate
you're not
snarky comments when I'm
apologetic,
trying
like
to
I
answer.
said, you shouldn't worry if someone asks. If someone asks me a question,
I am
I'm so
unapologetic,
happy,
but
you know,
I don't like snarky Marxists, that's all.
If someone, you've
Yes.
seen me on my
It's not
table. If
snarky.
someone asks me a question, I enjoy it.
Obviously got
Because
offended
it
by
gives me
that statement.
opportunity to speak and put my
Snarky.
Because it's childish, that's why.
Because that's what you're doing is
Young Bob
childish.
doesn't mean you have to behave that way.
So
the
the
whole
question
character.
is, where's the cut-off point?
Great.
Where's the
when the
milestone
native
of
when the
growth?
when the native people decide to convert to that religion, the religion of a country is set by the president of the people converting to that religion. Unless I see a mass amount of conversions to Islam, or not a mass, and in fact, conversions, like reverts. If you actually look at the data, right, it's underreported within the Muslim communities because no one wants to point it out, but in the Christian communities it's great, and also other communities of religious groups. Religious converts typically deconvert, right? And it's
Typically
deconvert.
Oh no, I know, understood the word.
source for
What's
that?
your source for that?
Pardon?
If they typically deconvert, then why is it seen as a
Okay.
threat to you?
Okay.
One second,
Oh, wait.
one second, Bob.
I don't want to move
Bob,
this
Bob.
discussion.
I
I don't want
know, but let me
to.
answer the
I don't
question.
want to move
You
this.
have to-
I don't. No.
you have to-
I don't want to move this.
Is it-
I don't want to move this
Bob,
discussion. I was answering this guy's question. I want to make this very clear.
Bob,
My.
take your time.
Wait.
Relax. If you say Islam,
Wait. I want to.
My question was
No. The religion of a country is set on the precedent of the native people and their religion.
Okay,
People
so my
here don't
point
have
was
any
that you feel
religion.
threatened by Islam. This is
people
what
here
we
don't go to
No.
you know.
church.
You did say
No.
that if the demographics is changed and you mentioned Islam, so clearly
As
it
an
shows
example,
that
do you want me to bring up
you're-
Hinduism?
you're
Let me
imagining
finish.
Britain is
Yeah?
Christian.
It doesn't have to be a debate. Not everything in the world needs to be a debate.
Of course not.
Right? We can
But
have
if
a
you make it to be a
conversation.
debate,
Hear
of
me,
course
hear
it
me.
will have to be.
You keep interjecting every 2 seconds. I'll let you speak. And
But
it's
so is he,
wonderful-
and you haven't condemned him yet.
So what she can
Look, you're the
Yeah.
person in the spotlight.
Pardon?
And you condemn.
You're the one in the spotlight. Forget everything around you. Focus on your
My
argument.
friend, as
I'm
much as
not-
it was
listen,
Valentine's yesterday, I'm not
listen.
going to focus on your
Okay,
eyes.
Okay, yes, haha, you're very funny. My point is, yeah, this is an opportunity to express yourself, yeah?
Correct.
It's like a Bible. I asked you questions. I'm not giving you a debate. I want to hear your answers. And this is what we're asking. So the
you
question
ask the
now
question?
is that you feel that Islam,
Yep.
many people who convert in, convert out. So how then does that become a threat to identity?
Okay, great.
you
So
understand?
it was irrelevant to the original point. It's irrelevant to the original point.
That doesn't
It
matter.
diverts away from the course of the discussion, and I want to make it very clear. Your original question was, "What is the religion of a country?" I've said,
That's
"What?"
what my original
Yeah,
question
that
was.
was the original
It
question.
was a my
No,
so
my
what?
fr-
That wasn't
this
the
guy is
question.
so difficult to debate. My goodness, the original
It's not a
question.
debate. That wasn't my question.
Okay.
My question at what
You're
point?
taking a
what point
course
is
of
this-
questions,
That wasn't my
innocently
point.
trying to
You can't
hide
be-
behind the fact
Bob,
it isn't a debate,
Bob,
but in fact it is.
Bob, you can't be a politician everywhere you go, okay?
Pardon?
You can't be a politician everywhere
Yeah.
you go. My question wasn't that. The camera's there, they are recording, and this is your political life that's
But
on
I-
record.
but I am
This is
young,
your-
Bob, so I have to act like this.
Yeah, that's fine, but I'm not acting like that to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not even trying to
And
make
you want to
feel-
talk to me, but unfortunately that won't
Bob,
happen.
focus. I'm not trying to make you feel small. I think you're smart. I think potentially you could be on a good course. I can stand it. You said bad things about me. It's okay. You are young. You can be strong. You can achieve good things. But there's some things,
Motivational
focus.
quote.
There's some things that you have to overcome. Not with me, but within yourself, okay? So again, I want to
Oh, he's a
ask you-
therapist now. He's gonna say there's something personally
if you
wrong
need
with
that,
me.
If you need that, that's fine. I would like to ask you questions without you feeling that it's a debate. As a politician, this will
Okay,
help your life.
so can we clarify, because I don't want to end up here for an hour, because one of the reasons why I don't
Where do
consistently...
you have to go?
Okay.
Are you?
No, I just don't like an hour-long discussion. So say how many questions you want. If you want to transform it to debate, that's fine, but agree on a structure.
There's no debate. We're just having a question.
No. I want to make this very clear. I'm not going to have an endless Q&A of me and you and the old fella over there, the Santa Claus Marxist fella.
That's
So
not nice.
set
That's
how
not
many-
nice.
set-
That's not nice.
set-
Why do you have to be so,
so
mean?
set-
That's my question.
set-
Why do you have to be so mean
set-
as a
'cause he's
politician for
mean.
the people?
He's mean.
Why do you have to be mean?
He-
But
he's
why
mean.
does that mean you have to be mean?
Because-
You know, I'll tell you why. Yeah.
Because respect is...
I
okay, now he's going to act like my therapist. So can I please finish the
That's very
sentence?
rude. That's
Let me
very
finish
rude.
the
But no,
sentence.
that's okay. I'm
Let me
used to
finish
your
the
rudeness,
sentence.
yeah? No, let me
Let
ask
me
you
finish.
question.
I don't see a lot of fruit in this debate. So either give
not a
me...
debate.
You might have to summarize.
I just want how many questions this guy's going to answer me, or if he's going to lead into a debate.
It's not going nowhere.
Is this
It's not
guy
a debate.
going to give me how many questions does he wants to ask me, Because if not, I'm going to
How
cap
much
him at
would you
one
allow
more.
me? How much would
Wait,
you allow
one
me?
more question. Or
Just
if
one more
not,
question.
challenge me to a debate. And in which we'll go to a
What's the
debate.
debate? Why do you always
I don't want
want
to talk to a Marxist.
Debate.
I don't want to debate a Marxist.
It's gonna get to a
You don't
debate.
want to, or you
Yeah.
don't feel competent to do so.
Both. Because admittedly, I don't know a lot about
At
Marx.
least he was honest. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I'm not asking
okay.
you to know a lot
So
about
you want
Marx.
to be a person's people. This is the question I'm asking. So bear patience enough.
last question.
Bear patience enough for me to give you the question, listen to the question, understand it. Now, me as a Muslim, I feel it's necessary for me to be kind to people, even when they're mean to me. When they call me names, no problem, I'll meet them with love. If they're a potential politician, I should hope that they're people's person. They represent the people around them. They're not mean people. They don't call people names, even if they differ with them politically, religiously, in any form of ideas. How far do you think, even though you're 17, how far do you think, Bob, that you will get in life being so mean and unrepresentable of Christianity when you think that Jesus was the kindest, nicest person that history ever saw? How much of you do you think represents good Christianity?
Fantastic.
That's my last question.
Final question, and here's my final answer. Now, firstly, I think God actually creates these borders. Because what is the thing? What is the thing that is the punishment of God at the Tower of Babel? When
Yes.
everyone unites, builds a tower up to the heavens, and is completely destroyed, what is the punishment? He wants to divide the people, and how does he do that? He introduces different cultures, because God understands that people cannot unite if their cultures make these people indifferent to each other.
He seeks the universal
So-
culture of the kingdom of God.
Of
that
course,
was
but that's
disobedience.
not achievable.
Christianity.
But that's not
Don't even know
not
your-
achievable.
Well,
Not
they
achievable.
were
Not achievable. Not achievable. Not achievable. Not achievable. How many times are going to be able to not give an answer to my final question? In fact, I'll give my answer around here if these two want to keep on being the charismatic duo. I'll come around. Nice discussion.
Listen, I do not mean to offend Bob.
why is it
I think he's a very
Yeah.
to say
talented young man. He's
that
got a
you
lot
don't
of
know enough
beautiful
about
stories,
Marxism
he
to
has to
debate
go
it,
question.
Yeah.
but you can condemn me for being a Marxist. How is that okay?
Oh, it's just against the church teachings.
What's against the church teaching?
Orthodoxy has had a long history
What
of.
is against the church?
My friend, I'm not going to be let into a
What is-
discussion.
You just said it's against the church.
Okay, I apologise for condemning you as a Marxist. I don't want to engage in Marxism. Now, in answering you to his question, I believe that if you look at the Tower of Babel, God understands that in dividing people, he must introduce multiculturalism. This idea that different people possess different cultures. And he does that because then the people can't unite and go against him.
But that was a punishment.
So, yeah, a punishment. So if
God is
people,
punishing the
yeah,
people by
he
separating
agrees
them.
with me.
It's not a good
He
thing.
agree, it's not a good thing to be
Yeah, so
separate,
the Tower
but
of
you
Babel
can't
is
be
a
united
challenging God.
under different
That's not a
cultures.
Christian position.
Wait, you
Right?
disagreed with
Yes
me.
or no?
It's a punishment. If it's a punishment, that therefore means someone trying to
think
do
people should
something
be
that is
punished
considered
for
a punishment in the eyes of God will ultimately fail because God is perfect. His punishments will be perfect
So
in the
it's
way he
race before
performs it.
religion.
No.
It sounds
No.
like that.
I said
So are you
culture.
supposed to go
I
to
said
all
culture.
nations?
I said
Are
culture.
you not supposed to, as a Christian?
Do you want me to move further?
go
Because I'm trying to give a,
to all
I'm trying to
nations?
respond to different things that are irrelevant to you. I'm trying to respond to what Orlando said. I'm trying to respond the
No,
original
you're not.
question.
We're talking about this. Stop running.
No, we're not.
As a Christian,
I'm trying to
as
answer
a
my question.
Christian,
What happened to the
should
final
you not be
question?
loving
Absolutely
to all?
comedic. Now I'm going to speak over him. So, the thing that I said that people that have different cultures can't unite. And God uses that as a punishment, which proves the point. Because God's punishments are perfect. They do what is intended. And if it's intended to separate people by introducing different cultures, means multiculturalism is flawed, ladies and gentlemen. Now, culture is a monocult. It comes from one group of people. That is why I'm not an ethno-nationalist, I'm not a civic nationalist.
middle
I
class
stand
or
in
working
between.
class?
No, let me respond. And in fact, I said it was the final question I was going to give to him because it's exhausting and I want to go around the park.
This is Speaker's Corner, mate. We're
So-
like to ask questions. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a civic nationalist, I'm not an ethno-nationalist. I disagree with Bob on nationalism, I think he's too weak. I disagree with Steve Laws because he's too strong. I sit on a position where I can accept the relationship between ethnicity and culture, whilst also saying that there are some small percentage amount of people that can come here and embrace the culture of the native people.
Yes, I agree with young Bob, and especially remigration is absolutely needed for European countries because we are being replaced, you know? Literally, we are being flooded by every continent around the world, every city, every country, and it's pathetic, you know? The government is putting them first before the natives, and we are being replaced. Our culture, our people, our countries, our traditions, our faith, everything. So remigration is absolutely needed. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think, if you agree or disagree. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to. Christ is King, and God bless you.